When you think about the Asian Confederation today, most will belt out Japan, South Korea, Iran, or even Saudi Arabia. However, only one of these have been active since the very beginning, and that is Japan. And I'll give you 5 seconds to try to guess the other 4. Okay, I don't know if that was 5 seconds or not. I really hope so. But anyways, the second team to be present was Mandatory Palestine, or modern-day Israel, who isn't even in the AFC anymore, and I'll get to that soon. The third one was Siam, or modern-day Thailand. And the last one was the Philippines, whose football history is extremely rocky. But these were FIFA members by the time the first World Cup in 1930 was announced. The only ones to answer the call was Japan and Siam, who both subsequently then withdrew. But then in 1934, only Mandatory Palestine answered the call, which was subsequently destroyed by a strong Egypt side who beat them with an aggregate of 11-2 in 2 matches. But then, finally, the 1938 World Cup came along. Asia was assured one spot. The Dutch East Indies and Japan joined the qualifiers, and then Japan withdrew. But on the plus side, Dutch East Indies qualified, so the first Asian nation to appear at a World Cup had finally happened, and it was modern-day Indonesia. And they didn't even have to play a qualifying match. So, skipping over to the 1942 and 1946 World Cup, because, they never happened, for the 1950 World Cup, India, Burma, or modern-day Myanmar, Indonesia, and the Philippines all joined the qualifiers. And would you believe it that Burma, Indonesia, and the Philippines all pulled out, which meant that India qualified automatically. But wait, there's more, because after the draw for the World Cup groups happened, like literally after the group stages for the 1950 World Cup had been set, you knew who was going to be your opponents, India pulled out as well. The main reason is that they didn't want to pay for the expensive trip. However, there is a conspiracy that I need to state, and that is that India didn't want to go to the World Cup because supposedly FIFA wouldn't allow them to play barefoot. But, either way, once again, unfortunately, no Asian team was present in the 1950 World Cup. Alright, but now, finally, for the 1954 World Cup, things were finally coming together. South Korea, Japan, Republic of China, India, and Vietnam all would come to participate. Unfortunately, India and Vietnam entries were rejected by FIFA, and the Republic of China withdrew. Thankfully, South Korea and Japan hung in there, and they went ahead and played their 2 matches against each other. South Korea would win the first match in Japan, and then the second match ended in a draw, meaning that South Korea would attend the first World Cup. Well, their first World Cup, not the first World Cup. It was the last World Cup in which the Asian qualifiers were set without the AFC, as the AFC would come to be born right before the World Cup took place. And unfortunately, it wasn't pretty, so I'm going to talk about the AFC Asian Cup instead, since it started in 1956.